So today I'm going to be renting my first car here in the UAE and trying out these crazy roads. Even though they're big and smooth and very comfortable to drive on, it is pretty crazy because of the busyness and the way people drive because of how busy it is. See you in the car. Oh my God, it's hot in here. Yeah, so that's one thing about this country. One perk is that when you get into a car, it's gonna be insanely hot. It is literally a sauna in here right now. But anyway, got my first rental here. It's a Ford something. Looks pretty cool. Hopefully everything's gonna be okay. Let's try driving this thing. So the reason I got a car and wanted to make this journey is that I shipped some of my stuff from London to my friend's house and I had to go and get it. My apologies for the horrible GoPro footage. I took this road that runs just outside the heart of Dubai, which is always under construction, and it's heavily used by both regular cars as well as trucks due to lack of tolls. Within 25 minutes or so, I was approaching Dubai Marina. Okay, all parked up, going upstairs to my friend. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff. Hopefully it fits in that car. After loading up the car, we grabbed a quick ramen nearby as I was starving. And let me tell you, this little ramen joint is incredible. The rush hour here goes from about 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and I was heading back around 3 or so. But I ended up catching its inception. The actual rush hour is mad busy. Unfortunately, I ended up taking a wrong fork inside of an exit and getting stuck in traffic for 2 extra hours because of it. Oh my goodness, it just started raining so heavily and it just stopped almost as soon as it started. That's crazy. It's still drizzling a bit, but holy moly, wow. I also got the car refueled before getting home, which was super simple. And then I just left the car in a parking spot on the street the next day. So I'm recording this bit after having done the whole journey, and I just wanted to give you some quick info on the apps I used basically and the options that I looked at for apps for renting cars, and maybe a little bit about my overall driving experience here so far. So let's get into it. Now, in terms of the apps, I looked at 3 apps and I'll just go over them in order. So we've got Easy Hire. This one is a little bit basic and quite simple to do. I've looked at these options. There are some cheaper cars, and I looked specifically at the Mazda 6. The Mazda 6 now is available on a daily basis. It was only monthly when I looked at it, so these things do change. And you can see it's 2,000 dirhams a month. I think it was 2,400. And you gotta watch out because VAT is not included. There's some extra insurance and other shenanigans that are not included. I think when I looked at the Mazda 6, it was like 2,400, 2,500, and when I actually went to go through the process of renting it, which I didn't in the end, it ended up being almost 3K with extra insurance and VAT. So for a month. But yeah, this app is pretty simple. It's pretty cool because they'll either deliver the car to you, and there's a small delivery fee, or you go pick it up, but there's a lot of centers. Like there was one about a 15-minute walk away from me where I could just pick it up and drop it off. So this is pretty cool. For registration, they just all of these apps, they do the same kind of thing. You take a picture of your license and your passport, you upload it and then give it a few hours and you get registered. So the second app I looked at is Self-Drive. This one I looked at very briefly just to compare what it has for a monthly rental of a Mazda 6. And this app essentially has many more brand options. I think if your budget is a bit higher and you can go for some nicer cars and you want more selection, you can go to this app, but the price for them, they had 2 Mazda 6 options. Prices were very comparable, maybe a little bit more expensive. But yeah, easy hire. If you can see, like, all the cars are white. I'm not sure if they're actually white or they just got the white picture, but you see there's some also more fancy cars. There's a Charger, a Camaro, and you can get Porsches, and you know, there's even Lambos. There isn't a huge choice though. There we go, there's a Lambo STO, 98,000 a month. So there's a few options there, but you can see there weren't that many. I think self-drive has a lot more options for all kinds of brands that you could possibly want. So if you want those options, maybe a bit more money to spend, a higher budget, self-drive looks cool. And the one I ended up using is actually U-Drive, this one here. This is pretty cool. This is kind of the closest thing to Zipcar that we have in London. You get cars, as you can see, like on the map here, you get cars that you can rent per minute or for a day, and you can do weekly, monthly, long-term. And the cool thing about this app is that you just pick up the car where it is. Fuel and parking is included, just like Zipcar. And you can leave it anywhere as well. But I would say that this is quite a bit better than Zipcar because parking is, while it's still busy, it's still not London, and the parking zones are also not London, where you have the ULEZ, the no congestion zones, and then there's, like, you know, on the street you have resident parking for resident permit holders only. Over here, most parking that is resident parking is inside the building, underground, as part of the building, and everything on the street, or most things on the street, are available to people, especially in Dubai. In Abu Dhabi, this is slightly different. There's less buildings with parking built in. But yeah, here you can rent cars per minute. That's like 80 fills, 80% of a dirham, 70% of a dirham per minute. And then there's dailies. Now, if you go into these, you can see that there's a trip fee. So there's like a minimal charge. There's like a small charge for every booking you make. There's mileage included and excess kilometers, 2 dirhams per kilometer, which I think is quite steep. So if you took a daily car, you know, for the day you have 150 kilometers, which is not a huge amount. And if you, for example, if you went to Abu Dhabi in it, right, you could, well, you're gonna definitely more than double it if you went there and came back, which is gonna mean that, you know, your 2 AED per kilometer is gonna be another 150 kilometers just to come back. So that would be 300 dirhams. That's significantly more than the daily rentals. So you gotta look at this. But the cool thing is, and this is what I ended up going with, I rented some Ford, is that, yeah, parking is included, which I said is quite simple. You can leave it almost anywhere. Only 2 zones out of like 8 or 9 are excluded. And you can't park in like underground parkings or malls, because then they can't detect the car. And malls are obviously paid. But yeah, parking is still a lot simpler than in London. And also the refueling. Obviously in London you have to do your own refueling. You have to find where that card is, you know, stop, fuel the car, go pay for it, enter some, I did this once with a Zipcar. Have to enter some number over there, the mileage, like enter the mileage as if it's the pin to the card. It's weird. Here, there's no card. You just drive into a petrol station. I've done this, had to do this at the end of my trip. You just drive into a petrol station. There's, if you don't know, there's people here refueling your car for you. You never need to get out of the car. Normally, they refuel. You tell them which fuel you want, they refuel, and then you pay out your window. Here, I was just like, hey, I don't know how this works. This is a rented car. He's like, all right, don't worry, I know what to do. He just fueled it, and I just drove off. That's it. Like, no payment, no card, nothing. No need to get out of the car. So that was really nice. I did get stuck in traffic, like really, really badly. This is the overall driving experience here is a bit crazy. The roads are a lot better, and driving should technically be a lot better. But in Dubai specifically, and on these roads, which are kind of like roads which trucks use because they're out of the city, they're not tolled. People are crazy on these roads. Everyone has a very selfish like mindset in terms of using the road. They're not thinking about others, how you kind of do in the UK, I would say. They're trying to take every gap that they can. They're trying to force their way into gaps. They do crazy things. They speed in multiple different lanes. The way the roads here are set up with the exits are gigantic, right? The exits are gigantic, and they have multiple layers of multiple forks inside the exit. And if you ever take the wrong thing, which is what I did, right? I took the right exit at the right time. I just got on the wrong fork because Google Maps is not, you know, precise enough with the line that it draws on the road. So I took the wrong fork and I ended up stuck in traffic for 2 hours, going down the road a couple of kilometers in standstill traffic and then coming back down that same road in standstill traffic. Yeah, driving here is a bit crazy. Abu Dhabi is a lot better, a lot simpler, a lot calmer, a lot quieter. But yeah, Dubai is a bit crazy, especially on the Emirates road, which is the one I took. Yeah, that's my experience. I don't know if I'm gonna be renting cars a lot here or a little. It depends what I have to do because I live quite outside the city. So if I have to go anywhere for interviews or anything like that, I will have to rent a car. Hope that was informational, and I got a lot of cool stuff, interesting stuff coming on the channel. If you're interested in Dubai and interested in how my journey is gonna go. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one.